Hey there, my friends. Welcome back to another tutorial. In the last video, we talked about data types in JavaScript. And in this video, we'll be talking about variables. So, what are variables? Variables are one of the most fundamental concepts in programming language. They act as containers for storing data values that can be used and manipulated throughout your code. Variables are just like labeled box where we can store several data types or a particular data types. They store information which might be numbers, text, objects, booleans, and so on. And also, we refer to it in our programming just by referring to its name. An example of variable will be age equals 25, or let name equals to Alice. Now, name is storing a string data type, and age is storing a number data type. In JavaScript, we are provided with three ways of declaring variables. So, I'll go to my Visual Studio Code, click on New File. I'm going to call this tutorial the JS. And why the JS being the file extension type of a JavaScript file. So let's me. Now, before I paste my file, let me open my terminal and see where I'm currently in my directory. So I'm currently inside my root directory, so I'm going to change this to desktop. So I'm finally on my desktop. Here, I will then create a file. The command line cd mainstream directory. So if you want to know about command line interface, I've got the video of that on my channel, which you can check up. As this command line interface, these command lines prompts are useful for programmers in navigating from one particular folder to another folder. So I would definitely advise you to check up the command line interface video that I've got on my channel. To create a new file on my desktop, I'm going to simply run the command line echo, and I'm going to input this string into the file hello world. Then now brackets, and I'll name this by tutorial the JS. So the JS is a file extension for JavaScript files. Now I should have the JavaScript file created on my desktop, which I have it right now. So I'll right click on this and open with code. Open. So the hello world that string that I echoed into this JavaScript file is what will be there. So let's delete this. So in JavaScript, we have three keywords or declaring variables. The first one is using the var keyword. Second one is using the let. The second keyword is let, and the third is cost. So these are three ways of declaring variables in JavaScript. We can just say a var, the variable name will be name equals to Michael. And a common way of handling statement declaration is by using the semicolon. But recent versions of JavaScript it's optional if you include this semicolon. So there's no need including this semicolon. But in old versions of JavaScript, this semicolon must be included to show that that's the end of your statement declaration. So you can also say var age equals to 50. Let is employed equals to a boolean, which is true. And we can say const so name equals to Michael Smith. Yeah, so there are some naming conventions I would want to go through in variables. The first through in variables is, so one of the first naming conventions is that, so some naming conventions I use when declaring variables is that Variable names should not start with inbuilt JavaScript keywords. An inbuilt JavaScript keyword includes words like var, let, const. We can say var, const equals to 2. This is not allowed in JavaScript as const is an inbuilt JavaScript keyword. As you can see, const is not allowed as a variable declaration then, because it's an inbuilt JavaScript keyword. Or we should do something like let equals to. So this is also not allowed as let is JavaScript keyword. And also, our variable names must not start with a number, like saying 1 me equals to John. This is also an invalid variable name, as you can see, as our variable name are not to start with a number. And an identifier or keyword cannot immediately follow a numeric literal. That is, our variable name simply cannot start with a number. And also, our variable name should not start with special characters, like saying dot new equals to John. And this is also invalid. Variable declaration expected, and it shouldn't start with special characters. Also, our variable names should not start with BMs. So in the good naming convention that I would want that we can follow is to use kami casing. And an example of kami casing is this, where we have a variable that its name can be split into two different strings, like username, total price. So kami casing is to make the first word small letters, and while making the first letter of the second letter word a capital letter. So this is a naming convention that that is popularly used in JavaScript. Kami casing, or can use the Pascal case, or can make it uppercase, or we can use the snake case in this particular instance. This I can say let underscore name equals job. Well, this is valid variable in JavaScript. You can also say our variable names can also start with the $sign. Let's know because do. This is also a valid limit convention in the one script. Our variable names can also be a kami case, which stuff like user name equals to Alice 1 through. So this is kami case and this is snake case. Let's user, I will put an underscore in between the two words equals boom. So these are some naming conventions that we can use to declare variables in JavaScript. And the three important keywords in declaring used to declare variables in JavaScript are var, let, and const. And I would want to say only use const where you are declaring constant, that is values that will never change in the future during your code. So that's a way so that's one way of using const. While var and let are keywords that can allow variable names to change. That I also say let's name equals to Charlie Brown. Just up here I've already declared name as Michael, and I'm already changing the value of name back in my code as Charlie Brown. So this is valid in JavaScript and very, very much acceptable. I declare the variable name here as Michael, and down here I'm already declaring it as Charlie Brown. That is, I can change the value this name variable is old. The former value will be like or down the code I change this value back to Charlie Brown, which is totally acceptable in JavaScript. So there you have it, guys. Alright guys, so this is the end of this particular video where we talk about variables. And if you love the video so far, please subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll be talking about strings.